Welcome, welcome everybody. I'm back with another afternoon stream. Hope you had a nice day so far. Play some Guild Wars, I guess, together. As always, if you have any feedback, any comments, please let me know. Welcome, welcome. So let's take a look at the changes from yesterday. Yesterday we actually got reward track merges, yeah? Which is the most interesting change of yesterday if you're not interested in the legendary challenge mode of Ura. So now we have less rewards track in PvP and World vs. World because they merged ones that we normally, let's say, had in multiple ones. So we had a lot of them in to actually select, and now we have 5 or even more in one, and you get the same end reward, but the small rewards are actually the same. I think the change is okay. It's not changing my gameplay, but if you, for example, I think it's a good change. It's for new players. I think it's helping them to understand, to not be overwhelmed completely. But for the most part, I would say it's not really changing too much, at least in my opinion. I don't know. Depends obviously who you ask. Maybe someone else has a different opinion on that. I did not do every single reward track yet, so I can't tell you if it's really changing too much. I have not compared everything here, but I think it's just a bit easier now to understand which reward track you should go for. I hope, at least. Okay. As always, if you are looking for support, it takes a few minutes, and then we have DPS within seconds. It's actually insane. Welcome, Chippy. Welcome, welcome. Hope you had a nice day so far. Welcome, Aoki. Welcome, welcome. So, if you are new to the game, don't have all, let's say, upgrades to your account, they are on sale currently. We have a lot of stuff that is on sale in the March sales. So you can get the Runecrafter very cheap. You can get the Recharging Teleport to Friend. Silver Fat is on sale. There are a lot of things that are currently on sale. You can get back temp expansion, back slot expansion. There are so many things that build storage, character slot, build template. All of that is on sale. So if you currently need something, it's a really good time to actually get something for your gems. It is, I have to warn you, not always lucrative to actually exchange currently right now. So if you are exchanging now, the gem prices are really high because a lot of people do that. So the gem prices go up, and that might lead to you paying actually the same or even more than before for the same thing. But if you already have gems, or if you want to spend real money, now is the time to do so, because now you get actually quite very lucrative offers and sales. The only exception I would say is if you really only need one thing and you need a lot of it, sometimes sales are actually higher than 25%. Some sales go to 35%, sometimes even go to 40%. So if that's the case, if you want to buy, let's say, 60 character slots for whatever reason, you should probably wait for a sale that has even more sale, more percentage off. Just saying. But otherwise, it's a really, really good time to actually get something from your gems. I'm newer to the game and try to get my first gear set. I want to play Power Reaper. Do I still take 2 items with... I mean, it depends a bit. I would say full Berserker is completely fine. So if it's easier for you to get full Berserker, then I would go with full Berserker. I think that's it's also more useful in a lot of other scenarios. So if you want to go to World vs. World and stuff, that's a little bit more useful there as well. So that's my conclusion here. Typically, full Berserker for most PvE builds is perfectly fine. You don't have to min-max. Of course, if you want to min-max, you go to Snowcrows or use my build guide. That then gives you a little bit, let's say, few percentage more of damage if you really want to go for that. but sometimes that changes over the course of a, let's say, year, because we get new patches and stuff. So full Berserker is probably the safe bet for the future. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's Fashion Wars after all. Okay, I mean, I guess most people actually spend their money on fashion. That's how it works. It's totally fine. I'm just saying, if you want to get some value for your gems, now is actually the time to spend them. If you are a patient person and saved up some, that's actually where I would spend them, or when I would spend them. But of course, it's not like, it's not the sale of the decade, so it will come back, something like that, and you don't have to worry too much. It's don't be sad if you don't have any gems or don't want to invest some gold now. It will come back, some sales. It's just typically the March sales are very, you know, it's very clear. It's always in March that it happens. So yeah. No, I would, if you play PvE in with Reaper Trippy, I would go with Greatsword. If you can use a spear, I would use the spear. In the other hand, spear is very good in as a power weapon. If you don't have access to the spear because you don't have Chancevals, then I would say probably dagger sword is a very good option, or dagger focus. So staff is a weapon that is very useful in competitive modes, because you have it's just very useful for its cleanse, for its long range, fear and stuff. But in PvE, it's not too good most of the time. Yeah. So I would typically go Greatsword staff, Greatsword spear, and maybe Greatsword dagger, something like that. Yeah. Oh no, Frugal, don't eat me. Don't eat me. Why do you want to eat me? That sounds actually not like a good welcome. Welcome. Ah. So overall, I would say Necromancer has a lot of good weapons in PvE that you can use, but Staff is typically not one of them. It has a nice burst, but other than it's not that good. So the auto attack is very bad. Yeah. Ah, that's why. Okay, interesting. Thanks then. Welcome everybody. I hope you had a nice day so far. What are you saying to the reward track changes that we got? I want to gather some opinion here, because I'm someone, I have all the rewards that I can get from the reward track changes, or before that already. So now I want to gather the opinions on that. Is it for a new player? Is it better to have less rewards tag in PvP and World versus World that then give you the same rewards but a little bit, you know, hidden? Or do you want to have multiple rewards tag that are a little bit different, but at least you know what you're getting into? I think both opinions can be voiced here. I think that's not completely clear if a new player would rather have more reward tracks that are more clear, or less reward tracks that are very, I would say, convoluted in what they actually provide. And I think most new players actually will probably not get, they don't see what is actually happening, and that it will happen, I guess. Yeah. I normally use the DPS add-on Evo, but currently it's down because of the patch from yesterday, so I don't want to crash my game. Yeah. Welcome, Echo Fox. Welcome. So sometimes or most of the times actually, when a new patch happens, the DPS add-on is updated after a few days, but in the time when it's not updated, it might work, but sometimes you get disease, you get just random bugs that happen, and so I would rather be safe than sorry. If I DC during an important PvP match, or DC during some boss fight that takes 10 minutes, it would be annoying to restart the game just for that. So typically I just uninstall it or just deactivate it and activate it as soon as I know it's actually working. I'm sorry, Echo Fox, I'm sorry. Just the opportunity arose and I could join a group just right now. Maybe a spot will get open. Yeah, but I was talking about the reward track changes. I think the reward track changes, I'm not so sure if they really matter that much. There are so many reward tracks still after the changes, so I'm not completely sure if it's really a game changer. I think it's just, I don't know, just a change that might help some people, but it's not really, I don't know. It doesn't change too much for me, at least. Maybe you are different, but I don't know. Welcome, Gosek. Welcome, welcome. Currently running an untamed solo build. It's crazy how much survivability it has, even with full berserker stats. Yeah, that's true. I mean, YouTube question was that, by the way. I would say untamed, it doesn't really matter what you run. You can't run Celestial, you can't run some kind of berserker mix with Commander, Cavalier, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can run anything on untamed, and the sustain is insane, and the damage is also actually quite high. It's such a broken class in PvE that I mistimed my dodge. So I think it's actually, it's crazy that they haven't nerfed it, and I think they will actually not nerf it at all. That's the crazy part here. But oh, we don't get the CC. Yeah, but I think it's actually fun. I think it's not only broken, but it's also very fun to play. It's not that hard to get into, even though you have so many buttons. So maybe you should just give it a try if you haven't tried already. It's very, very good. Oh my god, this group is feeding to the attacks here. Yeah, the AFK Thief build is also, it's not, let's say, I want to make that clear, it's not my build. I did not come up with that one. But it's such a well-known one in the community and stuff. For just being so easy to play, I wanted to promote that build to people that actually did not know about it yet. So it's a really good one, for sure. And look at this, 3 people in my squad died, and if they had played this DPS build, I would be pretty sure that they had more DPS than the build that they played. It's just that often the case. People that die here will probably do more DPS if they played this 30k build. Yeah, for sure. Don't be mocked, Filthy. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I think the reward tracks are always a grind. I mean, you have to... The thing is, Echo Fox, when it comes to reward tracks, they are designed in a way that you get rewards for playing the game mode that you enjoy. They are not designed in a way that you actually can grind them and get them in a 1 hour or 2 hour. It's not how they are designed. They are designed to, if you are World vs. World player, for example, and play World vs. World every evening, then you get rewarded for that and get stuff that you normally wouldn't be able to get, like dungeon armor and that kind of stuff. So they are just some rewards that you get in the background, yeah? And that makes it actually, if you have a different mindset, it's actually like me, for example, I just play World vs. World. I get so much, really, I get so much stuff passively that I don't even need, yeah? And if you have that like I do, then typically it's actually really good. But I get it if you, for example, need the Gift of Battle for some kind of legendary and stuff. It's really annoying to grind because you can't speed it up that much. It's 4 hours or something, and then that's the maximum that you can get. But I don't know. It's hard to actually rate that. For me, the reward track changes did not change a lot. I don't know, maybe for you it did, but I personally don't see the reason why they did it. Yeah. I'm sorry. No changes for the rest of the week. That much is for sure. Yeah. I can get the reasoning why... they said, okay, we have so many reward tracks in competitive modes. We want to make for new players it a little bit easier to understand what reward track they should go for. But at the same time, because you still have all the rewards in the end chest possible, it makes it even harder to actually understand because you don't see it that easily anymore, which reward track you actually have to go for to get the specific reward at the end. You have to first go to the wiki and check, okay, is it in the last box? Is it in there, what I want? Or is it not? I think it has positives and negatives. I actually don't see it. Yeah, I don't know. I know what I forgot. I wanted to swap that to stability. No, it's fine. I want to try Ellie, but that thing looks terrifying. I mean, that's a lot of people think Elementalist is terrifying, but the interesting part about Elementalist is it has a lot of buttons that you, or let's say not a lot of buttons, but it has a lot of possible skills that you always carry around with you because you have 4 elements on all builds, all weapons and stuff. Yeah, that's true. That is completely true. But, and that's the important part here, First of all, even for example on a DPS build, sometimes you don't even have to switch in all attunements. Second of all, you can start out, you don't have to be perfect and switch in every single attunement whenever it's necessary for your build. You can just start out slowly and learn only fire, learn only air, and then it's not that terrifying. I would say Elementalist is very fun to play. If you like the fantasy, you should go for it, and don't, let's say, oh my god, I have so many skills, I don't want to learn them all. If you like Elementalist, you should start and learn it slowly. You don't have to learn everything at the first day. That's my take. So I think you should try Tempest, yeah. And it's also Elementalist. You can start with an easier spec, shouldn't start with Weaver maybe, start maybe with Catalyst or Tempest, and you will be fine, I have to say, really, yeah. So if you enjoy the concept of Elementalist, I would say just give it a try, you know. Guild Wars 2, especially in PvE open world, it's not too hard. You can play build that you are not performing very well on at first, and you will still succeed. It's not like you die to every mob that you encounter. So just give it a try. Yeah. Welcome, Roaming. Welcome. No. I'm not sure if I want to check the mail. It's probably some fish stuff. I know you. There are 38k cutter builds where you stay in fire whole time. Exactly. It's like Elementalist to a lot of new people is, oh my god, there are so many skills that I have to learn. But in reality, if you think about the builds that are actually played, yes, there are some builds that are really sweaty where you have to play a piano. But it's not all of them actually. There are a lot of builds that are somewhat easy. Obviously, they are not as easy, for example, as the Unload Deadeye. That's hard to beat actually, but they are close, to be honest. They are quite close. So don't worry too much about people saying or you thinking Elementalist is so hard. If you like the class fantasy, try it out and you will probably be surprised how easy it actually is. Yeah. Yeah. It's a phishing mail. Yeah, you got it. I see the pun there. Yeah. Yeah, so that's my really important point here for new players. Play the class that you enjoy. It's really, really important. And don't let anyone tell you, especially not content creators, what kind of build you should play. It's never something that you should listen to because everyone is different. Of course, if you want to go for a really try-hard boss or PvP match, sometimes you should, of course, play the meta builds because that will perform better than other builds, yeah? You should not play, for example, a heal harbinger in PvP. Your party and your group will be grieved by you. Yeah, that's definitely not something you should do. But if you like a specific class, go for it. It's not like Guild Wars 2 is in that sense not a classical MMO where you have to play the healer role or tank role on a specific class. You can do whatever you like. That's the really important message here. So let's see if we don't bug this time. I always repeat this when this boss happens. Please don't CC the boss when it's at 35% or between 35 and 25, because then it will get really buggy and is very likely to disappear, to be invisible, whatever. Please don't do it. Just ignore the CC when it happens and everyone will be fine. Don't stand in hitbox, of course, but I guess that's a very typical tip. I mean, yeah, I think people underestimate, especially in PvP and stuff, the meta is very flexible. It's not like, oh, this build is the only build you can play. It's very important to understand, yes, there, especially in World vs. World and also really try-hard PvE groups like in Fractals and stuff, there is a meta, for sure. Some builds are just straight up superior than others. That's just how it is. But, and that's the important part, most people in Guild Wars 2 play open world, play some kind of mix of not really try-hard content. And then you can play whatever you want and you will be somewhat fine. So don't worry about it. Oh no, we got the CC. Now let's see if we actually get the bug or not. So we can test it firsthand here. If you CC this guy and phase it during CC, it might happen that we just get an invisible enemy. Maybe he gets invulnerable. This time maybe we are fine. Yeah, we are fine, I guess. But sometimes it's also in a way that we actually don't get attacks anymore. So he's just standing there without anything, with just ignoring everything. Yeah, I guess that's the case now. Oh, maybe we get an attack. Sometimes it's just working. Sometimes it's not. It's a really weird boss. Yeah, I guess most of the attacks are not happening. It's not auto-attacking anymore. I don't know. This is the most buggy boss, I think, in Guild Wars 2. Yeah. There we go. Exactly. If you play well, especially in competitive modes, you don't need to play a meta build. You can destroy people that play a meta build if you're just better than them. That's how it works. Skill in Guild Wars 2 is way more important than most gameplay. Yeah. Okay, let's see. I knew it. Fish, 1 pound fish. I knew it. I knew it. Yeah, such a good one. World vs. World this morning, I had a firebrand blast with small squad. We took 2 enemy garrisons on their home border and EBG and all their towers and camps. I mean, that sounds good. Sounds good. Are you a firebrand main now? Yeah, I guess that's fine. I mean, I like it. That's always missing in, I think, most squads. So if you're firebrand main now, perfect. Very good. World vs. World enjoyer in general. Very nice. I do play a non-Tempest, Meta Tempest with Sword Dagger in World vs. World. I mean, I think Sword Dagger is highly underrated how much damage you actually can deal. Sword Dagger is very aggressive. It doesn't matter which kind of Elementalist spec you play. Of course, it favors Weaver to some extent because you get the dual skills, which are obviously really good on Sword. But most of the time, I would say Sword is a little bit... Sword Dagger is very melee favored. And especially if you encounter, for example, a Willbender, if you encounter an Harbinger, I think you get punished for that. But most of the time, I would say it works actually decently. I can see why a Tempest is actually working. Yeah. I mean, it's fine. You will get there, Filthy. You will get there. Welcome, Roderick. Welcome. I honestly like Dagger Tempest more, but Sword is fine and I only have it for Air 2 teleport. Yeah, I think Dagger is such a fun playstyle. I think it was always, since the release of Elementalist, and since I started playing Guild Wars 2, it was my favorite in general thing how to play Elementalist was Dagger, because it's such a cool idea of being very mobile, being very fast-paced and still being an Elementalist. I think that's something that is not really often the case in a lot of fantasy games, that you have a mage that is also very fast-paced in melee combat. I think that's something very special. That's why I like it so much. I think I don't play it all the time anymore because it's, sometimes it gets boring. I want to swap stuff. But I think it's still my favorite weapon set in Elementalist. I would say probably. Maybe with staff, depends a bit, yeah. I stopped playing Guild Wars 2 in EOD expansion in 2022, thinking about coming back. So Mammoth, I would say Guild Wars 2 nowadays doesn't receive a whole lot of content. But the content that is there, especially if you stop in EOD expansion or something, there is actually quite a lot of stuff to do. So I have done all the stuff and I still play the game every day. It's very fun to me. I have almost everything that I wanted and I still play it because it's so fun. So if you enjoyed the gameplay, maybe come back, try it. There's no power creep in that sense that you have, or gear grind that you have to go for. If you like it, go back. And if you like what you're seeing here, just try it. If not, then maybe not, What's going on here? Also funny to see Willbenders wasting their bursts on perma protection. Yeah, I think that's the cool thing about Tempest. Has so much protection, especially if you play with Earth trade line, you get 40% damage reduction. Would say permanently. So it's actually insane how crazy durable you are because of that. I think that's a very fun thing to actually play. I also play, for example, maybe we can later play the Sage Tempest, where you also have a lot of protection uptime. And you can actually see how little damage DPS, especially Willbenders and stuff, do to you if you have protection, 40% damage reduction is actually insane. You take only 60% of their burst. That's crazy. You know how much toughness you have to actually get to that point? It's actually insane. It's almost unreachable. It's really good. The only thing that really is a problem is Necromancer or some really corrupting thing like Spellbreaker or a removing thing like Mesmer and stuff. That can be really annoying because if you get protection that is long lasting and you get corrupted, then that means that you don't have protection and you're very squishy after that. So sometimes you have to be careful there. But I think that's a good counterplay. So if you know about that, you can try to dodge the corrupts and stuff, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm actually with Filthy. I would say. I would say Tempest, Staff Tempest is my favorite playstyle of Elementalist right now. I really like that. I would say at least in competitive modes. Yeah. In PvE, I have to say Staff Catalyst is also very fun. It's a very underrated build. It's really, really good. So wait for the boon removal here. There we go. Such a weird thing that the fight begins and then you have after 10 seconds the boon removal. It's really annoying. Also, Condi builds don't do anything because I run Fire and Earth. Yeah, of course, if you run Fire and Earth, you have so much cleanses, that's insane. Especially if you, for example, go with the Relic that also cleanses and stuff, then you are actually immune against Condi. But I like to combo Fire and Earth with the Relic of the, how is it called? Relic of Nyos, because then you get, every time you cleanse, you actually get healed. That helps a lot. So I really like that combo. Yeah, welcome Snowdrop, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I don't like... Reapers are really annoying to fight as Elementalist. I think there are some classes that are just baseline the inherent counter of a specific spec. So for example, Necromancer will always counter Elementalist. It doesn't really matter which build they are playing. Necromancer typically is countering Elementalist. The only exception is if you have 100 cleanses, then you might be fine. But Corrupt against Elementalist is really good, and a lot of Condi cleanses are really good. So, or a lot of just Condi application against Elementalist is really strong because, for example, Chill is killing Elementalists because you have so many weapon skills that are all going on a longer cooldown. That helps a lot to kill Elementalists. And for another example would be Thieves and Mesmers are somewhat the counter to each other. So sometimes a Thief engages on a Mesmer and the Mesmer is instantly dead. That's just how it works. But it can also be the other way around. If a Mesmer engages on a Thief, the Thief might die to it as well. So there are some classes that are just, it doesn't really matter what kind of build they are playing. It's just sometimes they are really countering each other all the time. And I think that's a fun design. I like that. Yeah, yeah. Actually, the only thing that is really dangerous to me are Power Necros. Focus 5. Yeah, I mean, Focus 5 is really crazy with the amount of Boon Corrupt and damage they have with that, yeah. But Power Reaper is not that common. That's sadly not really a build that is in competitive mode, at least is not very strong. I think that's actually quite sad because I think Reaper was always designed in a way that is meant to be some kind of power spec, but that's just not how the meta currently is. Yeah. I think a lot of Reaper or Necromancers play either Condi Reaper or play Power Harbinger. I think Power Harbinger is superior than Power Reaper, for sure. So, we have a question from Johnson on YouTube. How do I think is Weaver? So Weaver is, I would say, one of my favorite class fantasies. Let me get that out of the way. So it's one of my favorite class fantasies that I have in the game. However, it can be quite hard to play because it has so many skills. Yeah, that's also one thing. And then, that's the more important part here. It is sadly in competitive modes just outclassed by Catalyst in every single way, and it's too challenging for what it can provide in comparison to Catalyst. So typically, I would say Weaver is quite bad. They're one of the worst specs actually in competitive modes. when it comes to PvE, I would say Weaver is okay. It's not top of the tier list, I would say, in any regard, but you can play it if you like it. But the sad part is, if you want to get the numbers, for example, such as really high Condimec or something, you don't want to play Weaver. Weaver is too stressful in most situations. It's actually not worth it. They get a damage buff with the next patch, but it's not changing, I would say, a lot, sadly. Weaver is in a spot where I would say it needs just maybe some major reworks. If they can't do it, I think Weaver needs at least some damage buffs in PvE to make it worthwhile to play something that is a little bit lacking in comparison to Catalyst and Tempest as well. Yeah, that's my answer here. But if you enjoy the class fantasy, go for it. Yeah, that's the truth here. I just started playing Heal Chronomancer and I'm confused about a few things. When do I want to use Veil of Action and when a Senility? So the interesting part here is your utility skills, also your healing skill and stuff on Heal Chronomancer are completely flexible. You don't need to run anything of that. You can swap whenever you want. That's the first thing that I want to mention here. And I would say Rival is the only weapon that you always want, and you can stay on Rival for the whole fight if you want to. If you're, let's say, want to play a low intensity build, you can play on Rival the whole time. I just swap to Dagger when I want to get some more buffs up, some more damage up. And I can also swap the Dagger to a Focus if I need more blocks and just more sustain. But I would say the Rival is the important stuff. So if you're unsure if you want to swap, then just stay on Rival. That's the first thing. The second thing is Veil of Action is giving super speed and giving might. That helps, but oftentimes that's not required. So you can go for more stability. I go for more healing and swap this one for a mantra, either of CC or stability mantra. But you can go with Senility for boon removal in the days. You can go for more healing with that one. You can go Fury and stuff, whatever you like. So you can swap whatever. But I would say my setup is just more stability and this more fractal stuff. And also more CC. That helps to carry. So that's the answer here. I would say it depends on your group. If your group has a lot of CC, I wouldn't go with Senility. I would rather go with Mantra of maybe Concentration. If you need more, let's say, boons and super speed, then go for Veil of Action. But typically, I can easily upkeep 25 might without Veil of Action and Perma Fury. If you're unsure, if you can't do it, then go for Veil of Action, of course, because that's the important part. And I have an insanely newbie question. How do you control movement and camera? Is it all keyboard or do you use a mouse? So currently, this is my left hand. I'm control my character and my camera with only my mouse hand. So left mouse button is for the camera, right mouse button is also for the camera. If I press both at the same time, I'm controlling the camera and the movement of the character. If I want to move and look back, I can use the W key with my left mouse, with my left hand, and can turn back or wherever I want to look. So that's really important. So yeah, and that's the short answer how I control my movement. I like to use W and Q and E to do like this movement. It's just with my keyboard. And I can use W just to move forward. But if I want to turn the camera, I want to use left or right mouse button to switch the camera where I look. It's a little bit, it's not intuitive in that way for new people, but that's how I actually try to use my stuff, because especially if you play competitive modes, you don't want to use W or stuff all the time. So sometimes you want to use W and look somewhere else, and then you can just do that, or you can move around the boss without, let's say, really just turning the character, because that's something that is really unnecessary, I think. Just turning the character by 90 degrees is really unnecessary. I don't have that keybind anywhere. So maybe that helps, yeah. Yeah, no problem. So is welcome. Yeah, I think Hammer Quickness Catalyst will be really crazy after the patch. I'm really looking forward to that, because that's how Catalyst should be played, in my opinion, with Hammer. It feels really fun. Let's see. And the rival max, yeah, that will be, we do it the easy way, just pressing a few buttons and then the builds play themselves. That would be really funny. Let's see. I use right and left mouse button for walking when I'm eating and AFK matters. I mean, that makes sense. I also have one of my most important, it's actually not a joke, one of my most important keybinds that I have is auto run, so that I can just clean my inventory, maybe go to my second monitor without stopping running. That can help a lot just for having the option there. Thanks there. Thanks, Cold Mystery. Thanks a lot for the raid. Welcome everyone. Just debating how we actually move in Guild Wars 2. So that's, I think auto run can be really helpful, especially if you are playing some kind of open world stuff where you want to move a lot. Then auto run can help a lot if you want to clean your inventory. Just be a lazy person. I think that's actually really nice. Yeah, exactly. For me as a content creator, it's very useful because I want to read the chat when I run somewhere. It's actually something that I use really frequently, because it's you don't want to stop in the game just to read something, just to open the inventory and stuff. So auto run helps there. Yeah. I have to finish the cutter collection for Sick Hammer before the buffs. I mean, the Hammer collection, I think all the collections are actually quite fun to do. They are not very unique, I have to be honest. Most of the time it's the same event, or not the same event, but the same thing that you have to do with the Mystic Coin and the Forge and stuff. But at least it's something cool to do. And I think that's a nice goal to have, to go for the collections. Because you only do it once, so enjoy it while you can. Yeah, I like it, yeah. Honestly, that would be a somewhat nice training setup. Double Heal Scourge. I mean, I'm not so sure about the Heal Scourge, but double Cutter on 6 Rival Max, I think that's insane. The Heal Scourge, I think, to be honest, I don't like to play Heal Scourge a lot in trainings, because you don't have the transfusion anymore. I think that was the carrying aspect. I like to play Chronomancer a little bit more, just because I have more flexibility. I can bring focus for a Slapling Pulse, I can bring reflex and stuff. That's all stuff that Necromancer is a little bit, you know, you have Pulse with the Spectral Grasp, you don't really have reflex. I think Chronomancer nowadays is just my favorite for heal alacrity providing, and in training groups especially. But I actually see why people would run Scourge. I think Scourge is extremely strong with the barrier access and stuff. I like to have one Scourge and one other healer, like a Druid or one Chronomancer, just because I think the ability to provide a lot of other, let's say, barrier cleanses and stuff is really good on a Scourge. So I think having one of them is really good, actually, not fine, it's really good. But having two of them, I think, is a little bit overkill in my opinion. Yeah, that's true. If you say it like that, Chronomancer is really hard. Maybe that's the problem. But I would play Chronomancer because I know how to play it and I'm just enjoying it. And the other people can play the easy builds if they want to. Yeah. Exactly. I like to have one barrier healer and one real healer. I think that's a very good combo. That makes sense, because then you can provide barrier when you need it, and you have one, for example, healer that can provide a lot of heals without having access to barrier a lot. I think that makes sense. Yeah. Heal Scourge died for me ever since Transfusion. I agree. I think that was the main. It's not dead. It's a very strong build. Don't get me wrong. It also has still the best revival power and stuff. But I was taking it for the transfusion, for that I could teleport people around. That's why I liked it in training so much. But nowadays you can't do that anymore, so I think I would rather play something that provides a lot of flexibility in the training. That's why I like to play Chronomancer. Yeah. Please don't bring that up again. I don't like Scourge in PvP. It's very bad. Please don't believe anyone that says differently. It's really bad. Yeah. Yes, I guess I will play Rival Mech, and I'm not sure if I will enjoy it, but I will play it for sure. Even if it's only to make a video about it. I think Rival Mech after the patch will be the new God Emperor, as it's so called in Guild Wars 2. Yeah. I play Heal Tempest and Heal Chrono, speaking about hard builds. Yeah, I think Heal Tempest is sadly... it's quite hard to get into, because you have to overload so much, and that can be really annoying for a new player to understand that you have to finish your overloads, you have to do your rotation to actually get to the overloads, because if you don't, you don't have alacrity easily. So it's I think Tempest is a really one of the challenging healers. It's not completely crazy to actually perform on it, but it's definitely harder than Heal Catalyst or Heal Scourge for sure. Scourge PvP montage and build video. I mean, that would be a grieving video, to be honest. I mean, I could do that in unranked maybe, but in ranked, people would actually probably have more content if I would show the chat than my gameplay if I would play Scourge. It's actually insane. It would be crazy. Yeah. I think we do, actually, boring guy. I think that's what we get back, yeah. So, Vanilli, the thing is, it's not that bad. It's not like you can't win with it. It's just Scourge in PvP. It's like you think you play an easy build, and because of that, you perform better in PvP. But there is a very big misconception in this thinking process. Because if you are not good in PvP, it doesn't matter which build you actually play, you will not get carried by your build because you're just not that good. That's not a big problem because you can learn, you know, that's how it goes. But you can't play a build and say I play an easy build and that's why I will get better in PvP. No, you play a build that is decent in PvP and you slowly improve your skill. So that's why Scourge is a so-called, it's like an illusion. You think, oh, I play an easy build and I will perform better, but it's actually not a good build in PvP. It's just a tank that doesn't do a lot. That's my reasoning here. Actually, I started playing the build like somewhat a week ago and I'm quite effective on it. Yeah, I mean, it's good. Yeah. Yeah, Tempest is in a weird state. Far too much healing for the content to play it in. They could easily trade in half the healing for some stability and glass would be fine. Yeah, I think it's true. I actually like that Tempest has access to stability when it plays with staff. It has access to H's. I think it has a lot of access to condic lenses and protection and stuff with the shouts. So I think Tempest is in a good spot when it comes from the utility side. I think Tempest is the only elementalist spec that has some nice supportive utilities. Yeah, that's a good thing. But I think Tempest is just typically you don't play it because it's too gimmicky in the really hard content where you needed some healer that is really good like with the healing, like Tempest. But then at the same time, you would rather have something like a Chronomancer, like a Druid, because it's doing the same job without too much of an effort and you get more stability access, for example. So yeah, I think they have to look at Tempest a little bit. Yeah. But I think if the first thing they should look at is Weaver, I have to be honest. I think Weaver is definitely in a worse spot than Tempest. I think Tempest is okay. Weaver is not. I think Weaver needs definitely some kind of help in all game modes, actually. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the broken thing about Scourge back in the old day was first that you have a lot of barrier access and we have reviving skills and that kind of stuff. Before that, it was actually just sheer amount of conditions and corrupt that you had. That at Path of Fire release, the most broken spec in PvP was Scourge together with Firebrand. I'm not joking here. It was the case. That was like they had 1 million damage and healing together because they were only corrupting and healing the other Firebrand and stuff in the team. It was actually insane. But that's not the case anymore. It's just not that. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually true. I think Weaver is by far the best elementalist spec from a design perspective, in my opinion, just because I think it's so fun how it plays. If you can play it, if you learn the skills and stuff, it's very fun. It's a very cool design. It's probably one of my top 3, if not my best or my favorite fantasy of all elite specs, just from a baseline design, because it's so unique that you combo 2 elements to make them actually work. It's really cool. But it's just sadly not, I don't know, it's just not where it needs to be to actually be played for most people. Yeah, we can do the Wing 4 run maybe next week. Maybe next week, yeah. And I can help you out there. We can just try to not do a training anymore, just try to do people that are not too experienced and want to get some kills to get more experience. I think that's always nice if you want to just improve, just try to get more practice on the boss. I think that can help. Yeah, we can do that maybe next week. We'll post something later this week then, I guess. If we find enough people, we can set it up. Tempest actually quite alright and doesn't need improvements right now, in my opinion. If you lack stability, you could take the lead in Eye of the Storm. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's bad. I just think if you compare it to other healers, typically you would rather take another healer. But I think Tempest, maybe it's maybe I'm with you there, and I would say maybe you should nerf the other healers. That maybe that's what you should do. Tempest is in a good spot, but the other healers are just broken. Maybe we should actually just decrease the amount of brokenness we get with the supports. Maybe that's the way to do it. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I will not read chat for now because I feared that I die or my group dies to this, because I did not do it in the last few weeks. Yeah. But I don't like this fight anyway. We can debate this again, but it's one of the worst fractals out there. That much is for sure. Yeah, it's sad that we can't see the DPS. Yeah, but what can you do, you know? It's just Arc is down. I think there's no replacement yet. So... Yeah, Lonely Tower is worse. I agree, but I said it's one of the worst. I think this is definitely, probably my second least favorite fractal. Lonely Tower is worse, I would agree with that, but it's definitely not a good fractal either, this one. I would say that the challenge mode, I have to be honest, the challenge mode for me is actually okay. It's just a very boring, long challenge, but I think the normal mode one is even worse. I really dislike the normal mode thingy, because you jump around with these weird keys and stuff. You don't really fight anything. It's just, for me, annoying. I don't want to have a fractal where I don't fight until the end boss. I think that's horrible. I think the normal mode is really bad. I think the challenge mode is just long, or feels long, but the normal mode is horrible. Yeah, Delta is just coming back on Friday, I think, so we have to wait until then. Very sad. I mean, you have to do the challenge mode on Cairn, don't you? Even the normal mode, I think that's what you have to do, so that can be somewhat group dependent. Or, I mean, you could try it without, let's say, really telling your group and always going into the green, but sometimes it's a little bit annoying if you want to do that alone. I mean, that's typically why you do the hard and challenge mode, because all people actually have to do the greens then, and then it's actually the same. You can actually do just the challenge mode, and everyone gets the hard normally as well. At least if you play it correctly. But it was such a long time ago when I did the hard, I have to be honest. It was almost, I don't know, at this point, when was the raid armor released? It was very long ago. Yeah, I mean, it's actually crazy, because I think they are so easy, the CMs, actually. The only CM that is somewhat challenging, I don't know. I like this Wing 4 CMs. I think the only CM that is really challenging might be the blues in Mo, because the blues can kill you if your party DPS is really annoying. So if it's really at above or below the sweet spot, then it's really annoying with the blues. But other than that, I like Samarok and Kern CM. I think they're not too hard. Yeah, they're not too hard. I think if you do Demos CM correctly, it's also not very hard, to be honest. But it might be a little bit more challenging than the others. That's that much. Oh, come on. I just was there. Yeah, that's true. I mean, of course, if you start with a lower KP level, then it might be a little bit more annoying. That's true. That's true. I forgot. Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe you're right there, actually, too. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is really the hardest part to get the greens. I mean, I think it's okay. You only do it once, and after that, you actually get your legendary armor. I think it's okay to have something that's a little bit more challenging. But nowadays, to get as a new player is a little bit annoying. I get that, because not a lot of people actually do it correctly anymore. That's probably the issue here. Yeah. Oh, that's a bad spawn. Yeah, I mean, but if everyone brings a shadow step, the thing with the blues is, why the blues are actually annoying, is because if you have the perfect amount of DPS, and I'm talking about negatively perfect amount, then the blues align with the spikes all the time. You can only use protect once, so the second time this will happen, the group will just wipe. So if you have the perfect amount of DPS, it's actually unkillable. Just baseline, because you will always die with the spikes, because they will happen all the time. Yeah. Yeah, blaming on the heal firebrands. I see, and Snowdrop. Yeah, I see that. I would actually agree with that. If you have Guardian players that can't press H's, then you have a problem. Yeah. I mean, might be the case, but the thing is, the blue is client side, so that means that one person will have one blue in one spot and the next person has it in another spot. So that means that, yes, one blue is not always with spikes, but people don't always see it correctly in time, so that might be just be... I just saying, typically, if you have the perfect negative amount of DPS, then yes, you could solve it with shadow steps, but that's just not really gonna work in most situations. It's just not. That's the truth here. Yeah, I mean, glad, Filthy, that I could help. I mean, I might make a build guide about it, this scrapper, because I think it's actually decent. It's actually surprisingly decent. I would say it's probably one of the builds that I could see making work for my guide series, where I want to say one build guide for all game modes. I think that might make it in there. So credits to you, for sure. No, distortion does not work. The spikes will kill you instantly. No invulnerability works there. Otherwise, that would be an easy cheese. That's true, yeah. So the thing is, I would say if you have a decent group, the MO CM is actually completely fine. It's not a big problem at all. But the problem is, typically people are just, I don't know, completely insane how they actually focus or are tunneled. Yeah, now after the first fight, we actually get the question if I'm a DPS, quick DPS. So good. So good. Yeah, I think Mo is I think normal mode Mo, Wizard Overseer, in my opinion, is one of the fights where I would say the challenge mode is actually the only really the real fight. I think the normal mode is just a joke. I think the normal mode should have been the blues to begin with, to be honest. I think the normal mode Mo is just not really a fight, in my opinion. I really like the challenge mode. I think the challenge mode is really fun. It's a cool design. It's not something that I would say is absolutely, you know, the best of the best when it comes to design, but it's, I think, a fun fight, fun idea. Yeah. Maybe it's one of the hardest fights done, maybe, but I just think it's a cool design. It's a cool idea. That's why I would say. I don't know. Thanks for the follow, Unreal and Chasten and Cold Mystery. Didn't see it earlier. Really appreciate it. But I think there are a lot of, I think the raids have one of the better challenge modes, you know? I think, for example, Demos challenge mode is actually one of the really cool, interesting idea challenge modes. I also like, for example, Kadim, so the first Kadim CM. I think that's a cool one. I don't like the second Kadim CM. I think that's a boring one. So I would say some of the challenge modes are really cool. Some of them are not. So raids have a somewhat interesting idea of how they take on challenge modes, I would say. For example, KCCM is just a joke. But, I mean, Doom CM is fun. I mean, to me, Doom CM is probably the most fun challenge mode. The reason for that is you just add something which runs in a perfectly fine line, and people just have to avoid this thing, and it's still getting people. That's just the most funny thing about it, that you just add something that is very easy to avoid if you just look at your screen, but people find it hard because they are just too focused on DPSing, too focused on other mechanics. I think that's actually really fun. The change for Demos is that you just can't heal soul, and the bubble in the middle goes away. So you can't actually stand in the bubble to avoid the unblockable damage that comes from the one attack by Demos. So that means that you have to do the mechanic correctly, so to say. And also that soul can't be healed can be a bit of a challenge if you just let too many of the greeds and brides to the Demos, not Demos, to soul. Yeah. So yeah. So it's a fun design, just a little bit, you know, the lore taken into the challenge mode within. I think that makes it fun. Exactly. I am with you there, Snowdrop. I think the challenge mode of MMOs should be something really cool. More chess pieces or something. That makes a lot of sense, yeah. Yeah. I would like that. But I mean, it's too late. It's too late. It's not gonna happen anything. They will not change rates, or the old rates at least, not anymore. Yeah, exactly. So the hand-cut jobs gets harder, and just all people have to be more aware. That's the hardest part of Demos, that you just can't really, you don't get the damage buff as well. So there are actually some more challenges. It's just a little bit of a more challenging fight, I would say. And I again forgot the reflect. Always when I stream, I forgot the reflect. It's hurting. It's hurting my brain. But I just never think about it in this fight to actually bring reflects, because I think, oh, I need a lot of CC. I can't trust my party. So that's why I never bring the feedback here. I guess it's fine. We got the CC anyway. Bonk. What did you bonk? Oh no. Very nice. Where is it? So 19 more wins in PvP and I'll be able to craft Transcendence. Oh my god, you got there. Nice, good job. It's not something a lot of people actually can say. If you only grind for the Legendary Amulet, it's actually quite a grind. So, congrats there. You know what I'd enjoy? If they add CMs to old raids and LCMs to existing MMOs. I would enjoy that too. I think that's a really cool thing, because that could make the somewhat lackluster normal fights nowadays with the power creep. Actually really interesting. But that's just sadly not gonna happen, I would say. They're just too busy working on something else. That's the truth here. RRCM would be really nice. I would like that. But I think dungeons are even more dead than raids. I mean, there will be a dungeon rush somewhat soon, so that will be fun. But I don't think they will add any CMs to that. That's just not happening, I guess. I mean, the Aether path, I have to be honest, I don't really like the Aether path. Why am I not liking that one? Because I think it has too many puzzle elements. I think this is a dungeon and you want to have some skip mobs that you skip and you want to have some cool fast boss fights or something, but you don't want to have one puzzle and another puzzle and another puzzle. I think that's me personally, I don't enjoy it too much, yeah. But I can see why people would like in challenge mode to that one. I think it's already one of the more challenging paths, yeah. I think legendary challenge modes, for example, think about a legendary Veil Guardian challenge mode. That would be so cool. That would be so nostalgic. At the same time, we get some really cool, crazy new mechanics. I think that would be really cool. I would like that a lot. But I don't see that happening, sadly. Why do I use Dagger instead of Scepter? The reason is I don't need the Scepter. The Scepter just gives me some block. That's it. It's only a block. But I typically don't want the block because, or I don't need it rather. And I would rather have more clone generation and a little bit of more DPS. Yeah. Yes, I'm a healer. That's true. But I can provide DPS because I'm running full Harrier. Yeah. So why not bring a little bit more DPS and get more clone generation? I think it's just straight up the superior choice because Scepter is not providing me anything if I get more clones and I don't need the block. But of course you're right. If I'm tank, for example, on Kadim 2 and I need a block to just survive, then I go with Scepter. Yeah, for sure. Or maybe even the evade on sword if I need a boon strip. So there are actually possibilities. I think that's the cool part here. But for most fractals and most fights in general, I think Dagger is the superior choice. No, Scepter doesn't have any CC. So main hand weapons on, let's say, Mesmer don't have a lot of CC. That's just how it works. They are more damage oriented. So you don't get any value from just saying, okay, I will play Scepter or I will play... I mean, Scepter has some soft CC, you're right there. It has blind, but to be honest, come on. If that's the difference maker, then I don't know. That's very unlikely going to change something. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe, but what would be the 10 colors? I think it's already, you know, 3 colors is the maximum, maybe a 4th, but then it gets a little bit hard to distinguish, I would say. If you had 10 different colors, it would be really confusing. That would be the biggest challenge to say, oh, which one do we have to go to? Is it orange or is it light yellow? You know, that would be so fun. I missed the CC. No. Sabeta CM with 6 cannons and you get a debuff like Tracker Portal, so every DPS is still in cannons. Oh, that would be nice. But that would be such a puck killer. No one would actually do it then. You know, no one. Because they can't do it. Because if you ask in a puck and say, who does cannons? Silence. You know, that's always the case. So that would be a really fun CM. It's really yeah. If you press Scepter 2 times, you get the blind and you get some more damage. But it's not as good as Dagger. That's the part here. But of course, if you need the block, you shouldn't press it twice because then you waste your block. So the block on Scepter is I would say, situational. Otherwise, you wouldn't use it, yeah. Crazy, they were really fast here. The threats from Color Point Beetle would certainly be funny. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's already there is green and red one, so it's a little bit annoying. So for those people, but I think you can, if you put them, for example, let's say, maybe you could make 12 of them and say, put one of them at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock and stuff. Then you could maybe say, I go to 10 or something, because then it's clear as well. But if you make them color and just don't really make a difference, then just the color, that would be a challenge by itself. That much is for sure. I actually agree with Snowdrop. I think the forums are really funny. If you have people that are really, really aggressively saying something about one or two changes, is actually really funny. What's going on here? Three greens at the same time. Unkillable Seaglers that can't be pushed. Oh, if they can't be pushed, that would actually be quite a challenge. You actually had to move then, you know? That's impressive. A raid fight where you had to move. Okay. Got it. Nice. Imagine instead of color it would play an alarm. Ooh, I have to be honest, I played Guild Wars 2 with really normal sound and stuff for years. And in the last few years I actually didn't do it anymore, you know? I just like to listen to some music in the background. I like to listen to reading chat and listening to other music and stuff, or listening to another content creator and stuff. So for me, it's often not really always the sound that I like to have in the game for just the only trigger for an attack. I like to have some visuals as well. That's just my take, but yeah. That's why I also don't like, for example, Quip or Dreamer sound effects. I tune them down because I don't like this auditory overload. I think that's really annoying me. I want to listen to something that I enjoy and not some really weird attack noises that happen all the time. That's my take, but yeah. You could make the platform lit from the start. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something I would do. I would definitely not have the last phase be the only somewhat challenging one. I think that's not something that we want. Yeah, that would be a fun challenge mode. I would really enjoy it for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't like that either. I think, oh, I'm doomed. Oh no, not me. No, I think that looks so weird. It looks so artificial, this comical but really weird designed head thingy in the gem store. I don't like it. I actually didn't get it yet. And I'm not sure if I want to get it. Maybe I just wait for the, how is it called? Blackline statuettes to have it in there. Because I would never use that thing. It's so weird. It's so weird. I actually don't know what they are really doing with that one. Ah, on the Asuras. Yeah, maybe there to hide the head. Yeah, okay. I can see that one. Yeah. I can't outrun a centaur. Oh my god. This sentence, that's one of the big reasons why I actually turned it down just the general noise of Guild Wars 2, because that's the sentence that I heard all the time, you know. It's so annoying. After 10 years, you just can't listen to the same audio cue anymore. Yeah. Yeah, this fractal is completely the DPS people that don't have to concentrate at all, you know. I just apply stability, H's stability in conjunction with reflex and stuff. It makes this fight so easy. You just ignore everything. And if you then have a lot of burst damage, then you can also face this guy before he does anything. You know, you see he is now starting the first attack, but we are already done. I don't even have to use the special action key for the fight. It's really crazy. It's just so power grab. That's why I say healers are so broken. I think healers, if they would nerf healers, the old content would actually become challenging again. Yeah, you can turn off the chat, you can tune down that stuff however you want to, that's correct. But I just don't like to have, for example, I don't like the instruments of other players on, because that can be annoying if you want to record a video, for example, in the background if someone plays music, that can be a bit annoying and stuff. And if effects can also be quite annoying if you hear the clock ticking of your Chronomancer wells. That's kind of stuff that can be quite annoying. But in general, I think it's okay. If I have turned it like that, it's fine. Sorry. Had to decrease the audio here because that was a little bit annoying. Yeah. So imagine trio LCM. Oh my god, please not. I'm not the biggest trio fan. I think that had to be some really crazy. Oh no, we have stability thingy here. Yeah, trio CM would be interesting for sure. I mean, there could be some really cool mechanics, but I would, the main difference that I want to have here would be that I wanted to see that you can speed it up. You know, I don't like time-gated events. I think that would be really cool if you could make trio faster by killing more saboteurs and stuff. That would be my #1 change for CM. Yeah. No, I don't get me wrong, Echo Fox. I like players using in-game instruments that do it well, but sometimes it's just annoying if someone else does something in the background when you try to record, when you do something and you want to concentrate on the mechanics and stuff, to listen to maybe just the Guild Wars 2 music and stuff. That can be a little bit just not fitting. That's what I meant. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Oh, pre-event 25 minutes. Deluxe. Yeah, it's true. The scenic route in Solid Ocean. Very nice. So Kenny, this is a Mesmer. I'm playing a support Mesmer that uses Rival. That's correct, yes. It's the only real support weapon Mesmer has. It's really broken. It's extremely strong. There we go. So you can skip to the final boss room in Solid Ocean Fractal if you do some super speed jump off the cliff at the beginning with the Executioner's X-Toy or the Pinata Tonic. So you can skip to the end, so to say, but if everyone has to follow with the portal to actually make the skip really worthwhile. And people just, or don't have to, you know, you can also just GG, I guess. But a lot of people just run anyway, and then you just waste the skip completely. So, yeah. Yeah, the jump is, it's not, I would say it's one of the hardest actually challenges to do in Guild Wars 2 Fractals if you want to do this one first try correctly. But I think if you know how to do it, it's actually somewhat consistent. It's just a little bit gimmicky. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, it's definitely, the normal mode should be faster. I think trio is very annoying. But if you think about it, if the trio would be faster in normal mode, then let's say it's around maybe 4 minutes only. That might be the fastest rating by far. You know, this one, the record is around 12 minutes or something. So if you make it, let's say 4 minutes trio, then it would be sub 10, maybe not, but close to 10 minutes rating. That's actually insane. So it's already quite a fast rating. It's just a little bit annoying because of the Just the time-gatedness of this trio event. Yeah, I mean that's an addition in Soto. In Secrets of the Obscure, Mesmer got access to Rival, and actually all Mesmer specs can use Rival now, or all classes actually, or all elite specs can use all of their weapons now if you have Soto. So if you are Soto, if you have Soto, you can use, for example, X on Chronomancer, even though X was introduced with Path of Fire on Mirage. So they did some changes regarding the weapon stuff. Yeah. Maybe someone does the Urban Battleground skip later from our group. I'm just really bad at jumping passes, that's why I don't do it. But yeah, but maybe someone does it. Probably, actually. It's in high KP groups, it's actually quite likely that they have this skill. So we will see. I think one of the really cool skips, Mesmer has a lot of crazy skips, so if you know how to do it, it's actually really good. I'm just not, you know, if you want to talk and concentrate about other stuff, we skip, I guess, or not. Okay. You do it every time. Nice, very good. If it doesn't fail, then then I like it. Yeah, then I like it. I failed the Insta CC. I'm so rusty. That's actually crazy. At least I'm not DPS, so they can't flame me for having bad DPS. Also, they don't see the DPS because ACT DPS is not updated, so it's fine. Yeah, I personally, Kenny, I have to be honest, I'm personally not the biggest fan of that change. I like the idea of having specific weapons bound to a specific subclass. I think that was an interesting idea because that made build crafting more interesting. Because now it's like you always use the best weapon on every single elite spec. I think that's just boring. I think it was way cooler if you say, okay, I need to run Renegade to actually get access to my short bow. I think that was a really cool idea. But they removed it for whatever reason to actually make Soto more sold or something, I guess. I don't know. I personally don't like it that much. The idea that you swap the weapons all the time was more interesting in my opinion, depending on the elite spec. But that's just my take. I see why people would like the other way that we currently have. Yeah, it's actually true. It's actually true if you're a new player and want to get into fractals and stuff. If you don't have good DPS, now is the time because ARC DPS is not working. Everyone is dying. Nice, we survived. I think in Fractus you can do a lot of skips, especially if you're skilled, really to help your group and really speed up the thing. So I think that the really interesting part about this is that a lot of classes actually can do it. It's not only Mesmer. I think most of the skips are actually doable nowadays by all classes. That's the interesting part. So don't say, oh, I'm not a Mesmer main, I can't do the skips. It's not true. You can. So if you plan to play the game, is Soto like essential to get, or I can just skip it for the time being and pick it up when it goes on sale. So the thing is, it depends what kind of player you are. So if you want to play the most optimal build, I would say Soto is very likely to be necessary for that. Just so that you can, for example, use Dagger on Chronomancer like I just do. But if you just enjoy the game and want to get back into it, you can just start without it. It's completely fine. It's not absolutely necessary for that. I just say if you want to go somewhat try hard and want to just play the optimal build and stuff, then I would say at some point you have to get Soto. That's unavoidable. But I would say you can definitely wait for the sale of the expansion for sure. So I think it's not absolutely, you know, you can only play with Soto. That's definitely not the case. And it's just very helpful in that way to actually get access to a lot of crazy builds. So let's see. I guess someone maybe might do it. Yeah. So now you see it, but they need stability, I guess. So this is the skip Echo Fox. If you... Yeah. I also don't like Weapon Master Soto changes. They ruined the spec identity with this feature. Yeah, I would say. I would say actually. Okay. Now these people actually did it, so. I mean, it's a speed up if the path here is annoying. So sometimes it's not a speed up if the person that does it is slow or if the skip is fast. But I would say in most circumstances it's actually working. So if you are good in jumping puzzles or if you did it a lot of times, then it's a speed up. But I'm really bad at jumping puzzles, so I don't even try it. Because I don't want to give my group a false sense of hope, you know. Someone that goes there and I fail completely for 10 minutes straight. Doesn't seem like correct. Yeah, the big char model doesn't help with the jumping puzzle, that's true. You have to go first person. Yeah. I guess this fractal rotation is way better than yesterday's. You know, yesterday was Aquatic Ruins and Lonely Tower. Easy skip to not do fractals. Well, at least today it's actually decent, so I can stream some fractals again. Yeah, I think there was a time where Asura was actually useful in PvP too, Echo Fox. Because before they introduced, where is it actually? Yeah, is it at some point there is this where is it competitive? No. Here, standard and enemy models, you know. This is in PvP very helpful because you always fight against humans, you see the same animation. But back in the old days at the release of Guild Wars 2 and stuff, the character actually was displayed as the same race that we had. So if you're playing Asura, the enemy would see the Asura animations. And that's just baseline smaller than all the other animations because you're Asura. So you would play the smallest Asura possible so that all your animations would be the smallest amount of, let's say, attack pattern and stuff to be visible so that the enemy has less time or less just visible cues to actually dodge the attacks. So that was the time where every one of the tryhard PvPers played Asura only. That is obviously now not the case anymore, but it's the other thing that I remember where Asura is really helpful. It's really funny that existed in the game, but I think it shouldn't, you know, it shouldn't. I mean, it's also with the racial skills, you know, some racial skills were to some extent useful at some point, but they now nerfed it so much that it's not really. Racial skills are just a flavor, you know, they don't really provide any value. As soon as someone comes up with a build or an idea when to use this racial skill, they nerf it into the ground. They don't want any racial aspects to actually matter in the really meta designing. So you don't want to have a char meta where everyone has to run char because it's the most DPS that you can get. Yeah. Welcome, Boro. Welcome. Welcome, Bosco. So we have a question from YouTube. If there is a really easy class that performs very well in all game modes. What is the answer to this? An easy class that performs very well in all game modes. Maybe Willbender? But it's not easy in that sense. I don't know. I'm not sure. I wouldn't say Mesmer is actually easy. I think Mesmer performs really well in all game modes, but it's not an easy class to get into. Yeah, Reaper. Reaper is a good call. I would say Reaper is a decently easy, and it's performing actually very well. That's true. Maybe I would recommend Reaper and Necromancer. I think that's a good one. Yeah. You can play in Cirque. You can play Reaper very well. In roaming, you can play Reaper decently well. In PvE, Reaper is really good as a DPS. It's a very good solo build. It is just all round very good. And in PvP, you can play a Condi Reaper. That's obviously probably the most challenging Reaper build because you have to position correctly because you will always be the target. But at least it's working. So I think Reaper is the best option. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. It's a good tip. Yeah, for sure. Of course, you have to enjoy the class fantasy. If you don't like Necromancer class fantasy, then you shouldn't go for it. It's even because it's easy, you should never go for something that is actually not enjoyable for you. That's my take. I think it's really important that you enjoy the fantasy. That's way more, let's say, fun than playing something that might be broken in a game mode just because people say it, you should use it. It's not. Yeah. What do you think of the Fire Weaver as a side note on PvP in the current meta? I know it's probably not meta, but do you think it can hold on its own? So I would say it works. It's a very, let's say, thought out build. It's definitely a really good side noder, but sadly the meta is just too bursty in that sense. If a Willbender engages on you, you might kill them, but they will probably kill you before that because they have more damage. So that's why typically a side noder has to survive someone that outnumbers you. Yeah, but a Fire Weaver doesn't have a lot of protection access, so it's just very lackluster in the defense, and it doesn't have stability access. So if those two things would be covered, then you can play it. But other than that, it's just, you can make it work. I have some nice montage moments where I played it and outnumbered situations and killed people there. But most of the times it's you just feel how underpowered you are against other people that are just playing a meta build. So I would say you can play it. It's fun, but don't expect to win because of the build. You have to win because of your skill. So that's just the sad truth here. So I hate every other class fantasy than Necromancer. I mean, that's fine. Then just stick to Necromancer, you know. Nowadays, you can play one class and do every single role with it if you're not, let's say, a warrior. But any other class can actually fill all roles. So don't worry too much if you want to play Necro. Black Mage and you are enjoy Necromancer and Guild Wars. That's interesting. Very interesting, actually. Oh, come on. I've seen your video on best class for all game modes, the Willbender one, but I don't have Chantivals for the Spear. Would you recommend replacement? Yeah, Greatsword. Greatsword would be the... so you mean Spear and Greatsword. Then I would replace Spear with Sword. That's by far the second best option. So Willbender with Greatsword and Spear Sword is really good. Because you want to have stuff that gives you damage and mobility. So Greatsword in conjunction with Sword is a really good option. Of course, Spear has more burst damage, but you have more access to teleports, so that's probably very safe to take as well. Yeah. Maybe, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe Black Mage is somewhat like Scourge because you can ignore. I don't know. I think Black Mage feels for me like, from the design perspective, more like some kind of Spear Catalyst or something. I mean, you can play Heal Spectre, but I think Heal Spectre is... Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no problem. So I was considering making a Condi Virtuoso, but people are saying it's getting nerfed this upcoming patch. How about this enough? So I would say Condi Virt is still very playable. Don't believe what other people say. Yes, you will have less DPS. Yes, the DPS will be quite low in comparison to, for example, a Catalyst or something. Full DPS Catalyst or something like that. But, and that's the important part here, you will still be able to tank a lot of mechanics with your distortion. You will still be able to heal yourself. So you have a lot of access to teleports and your stuff. So if you want to. So it's still a very worthwhile build to play. Don't believe people if they say this build is dead. It's not. It's just not as broken in the terms of DPS anymore. That's what getting nerfed. So if you are looking out, if you want to have the highest DPS build, then maybe you should not go with that anymore. But if you want to play a safe, somewhat easy to play Condi build, then this is actually a very worthwhile pick after the patch still. So that's my take on that. Yeah. And it's, in my opinion, also quite easy to play. And I think that's a very big plus for a lot of builds, because if you have an easy to play build that performs very good in hard content too, then I would say go for it as a starter. I don't know. Yeah. My Ranger almost level 80. Is it better to be Druid or Soul Beast for a beginner? A question from YouTube. So I would say Druid as a healer is not too hard to actually play, but to master it, it's actually somewhat hard. It's not the easiest healer if you want to master it. If you want to play DPS, then you should definitely go with the Soul Beast. So I think it's more dependent on what type of role you want to fill than what type. It's not about the easiness. Yeah. So I think Druid and Soul Beast are both not too hard to get into. It's just about the role that you want to fill, that you should decide more about that. Yeah. How much unbound and volatile magic do you have? So I convert them somewhat frequently. So how much do I have right now? I have 20k unbound magic and 53k volatile magic. So not too much. I just convert them whenever I need them to, but I most of the time don't actually. I mean, is it? I don't actually know if Snowdrop, if it's Guild Wars 2 has better fashion or Final Fantasy. I actually don't know. I'm the wrong person to ask. I just collect the skins. I don't use them. that's the sad truth here. Yeah. I think Guild Wars 2's system of how it works, so the transmog system in Guild Wars 2 is better, so that you can just use the wardrobe and collect the stuff and get them from there. I think that's better. I don't like the glamour system in Final Fantasy when you have to use this weird, what's it called? This weird thing that you have to talk to. I don't like that. Yeah. But the fashion itself might be better in Final Fantasy. That might be true. About the Druid, Heal Druid, I really like to play Quickness Scrapper with Heal. So I tried Heal Druid and I don't know why, but my heal is so bad I can't even out heal strongest damaging field in Golem. I can show you how to do it. But the thing is, Druid is insane in Celestial Avatar form, but when it's outside of Celestial Avatar, your heal is not that broken. So you have Druid is a little bit different than a lot of other healers, because your healing output is more, you know, you have a phase where you have a big amount of healing output, and then you have a phase where your healing output is a little bit lackluster. I wouldn't say lackluster, but at least not as high as with the Celestial Avatar form up. So you have to get used to. So you can't say, like, if you're on Bone Skinner and it's consistently ticking, you have to save your heals for when you are not in Avatar form. Because if you're in Avatar form and use all your heals that you can have access to without the Avatar form, then that means that you will not have enough heals when you drop out of it, if that makes sense. I mean, and also the interesting thing is you have to take this trade to get alacrity, but this trade is actually pushing your healing across the moon. If you had this trade and you could still provide alacrity, it would be absolutely insane. So that's why Druid, I would say, is the only class that actually can be a healer baseline. So you don't want to provide any boon. Sometimes you could play the third healer or something, or you could play the single healer without providing alacrity if you wanted to. This trade would make it able. You could swap, you could heal 10 people with that trade because it's so broken how much healing you actually get. But you sadly have to go for that one most of the time because you need alacrity. Okay, so let's turn on the damaging field. And let's try the healing. Ah, wait, I need a target. Okay. So you see the damage is quite high, but if you are in avatar form, you can actually out-heal it quite decently. And as soon as you drop out, you have to use your blast finishers and to keep up here. But obviously this field here is somewhat annoying to deal with, especially if you don't have quickness and stuff. Maybe I should have given myself quickness. That would have made it a little bit easier here. But you can make it work even without quickness for the most part. You have the Caracosa relic that helps you heal even more. So yeah, I would say Druid has burst phases where you can heal this damaging field very easily. But if you are outside of Celestial Avatar form, then it's a little bit harder. Are laurels actually needed for anything? No. You can use the laurels for whatever you like. It's a currency that is legacy in that sense. You can buy a lot of stuff with laurels, but it's not necessary for anything that is just unique to laurels. So if you have full ascended stuff, then you can use your laurels and use them for gold, for whatever ascended stuff, whatever you like. Not important. Yeah, I mean, then I would say overall the healing from a quick scrapper is probably better than from a druid. That's true. But the thing is, Druid is very flexible. That's why people take it. Typically, you don't have that high damage consistently. Druid can place a longbow. Druid can, let's say, have a lot of CC. And that kind of stuff helps. But I would totally agree with you that quickness, heal scrapper is actually really underrated how much value you get from it. That's true. Exactly, the pusher because of your longbow or just the knockback from your... where is it? Cliff of the Tides. All of that kind of stuff that's very unique to Druid, you know. That's the reason here. Now we have quickness, now it should be way better. You can see it's I can out heal it quite easily. It's not like I have a big problem here. And of course I need my CA for that. It's easier to get the CA up if I'm, you know, if I have party members here. But I should make it work. It's also capable of doing that. It's not like I need to play skill scrapper for that. There are a lot of good healers, so this field is quite damaging. It's true. It's not like you can't. Typically, raid fights don't have that much damage. So even if you're a healer that doesn't out-heal that, you can still be fine in most raid fights. Yeah, you can see it works. That blue smoke animation on F2 seems annoying. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't care too much about my animations too much, but if you don't like that, then yeah, maybe Druid is not for you because you have to do that all the time. That's the truth here. Okay, maybe we can get a Necromancer. What did I say earlier? I wanted to show the temp case, the Tempest. Maybe we can do the Sage Tempest. Let's see. As always, if you have any questions what I'm doing and stuff, please let me know. I try to explain stuff, but sometimes it's a little bit, you know, I'm a veteran and I do stuff that is very intuitive to me, but might not be for you. Don't go deaf. That's not good. That we don't want deaf. That's really bad. Maybe you should get some new batteries, or maybe even some how is it called? Something not wireless, something with a cable, maybe. That's, yeah, I mean, I can get it. I don't have my headphones don't have any cable either, so I like it. But I think if it's all the time going and the battery goes low and stuff, I don't like that either. So probably I would get a wired thing then. I don't know. I think that's the, I mean, I think typically, I don't know what, if you're always wearing headphones if you're gaming, but I actually also sometimes like it without headphones. So just having speakers to listen to stuff. Because I think headphones sometimes are nice just for more sound quality or getting it really close to your ear and having no distraction. But especially in summer, I really dislike wearing headphones because it's getting really hot and it can be really annoying just for me as someone that isn't really, I don't enjoy heat around me. I don't want to sweat when I'm gaming. So for me, I often in summer, I don't really like to wear headphones. So I think there is always an argument for both. Yeah. Like an iron, yes, exactly. Very old school. Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's obviously, if you are listening to music, it's the same for me. If I want to do something late at night and I don't want to disturb my neighbors and surroundings and my girlfriend and stuff, then that's different. I would agree. Then you wear headphones for that. But if you are, let's say, sure that no one is disturbed by it, I think just having speakers on a normal amount of volume, I think that's fine. You know, it's just for streaming. I can't do that because that's weird echoes and effect and stuff. But I think that's for me quite fine. Thanks for the sub. Really appreciate it. Hux, really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Not a true gamer. I mean, that. Sorry to actually say that. Shouldn't have told you. No, you don't believe in me anymore. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah, okay, it's fine. If it's half a day and they lose power for half a day, that's okay. I mean, I think it's fine if you have replacement stuff and you can easily switch the batteries and stuff. But if it's really annoying after 2 hours and it's already empty, that would annoy me. Then I would probably switch to new ones or maybe go to wired ones. Yeah. It's over. Oh no. Oh no. Wait. The conspiracy is coming up here. The whole guild is just out for a visa. What? No. That's weird. That's weird. No. I hope you enjoy the content. That's more important. Holy shit, the queue times. So, what do you want to see? We can play Elementalist, Necromancer, or Guardian. Those three I can play quite fine. So, what do you want to see in PvP? You have the choice. I don't care about the matchup. Just let me know what class you want to see. Scorch. That would be so grieving. Oh, that would be so grieving. Fish. I mean, what is the fish class? Nah. I don't read that now. I can play Staff Tempest if you want to see a support. Of course, I only play support if we don't have another support, because if we have a second support, then I'm throwing just baseline. But if we don't have a support, then I play Staff Tempest, if that's what you like. There's a Salmon Tonic. Is there? Really? Can you buy it? Or do you have to unlock it? Where is it? Novelties? I don't have it apparently. Floppy fish tonic. Okay, you can't buy it. No, amazing. That would be it. It's not a combat tonic though. That would be so good if you can use that in combat, but it would absolutely it would be ridiculous. Okay, I guess Legacy is the best if I want to play support. Is it Staff is your favorite weapon with Dagger? I was curious what you like so much about it. So if I play Staff, I especially like Staff Tempest because I like the feeling of having a very nice supportive way of playing it. I guess I can play it. This is probably a Willbender. Yeah, okay. So I can play it here. So I like the supportive way of Staff. I like the mobility that you get from Burning Retreat. And I like, that's what is the most important thing about Staff for me, is that I have a lot of setup, you know. I can use my CC, for example, here with the static field, you know. I can use the unsteady ground here to really make it really hard for enemies to push on my allies. I really like that kind of support playstyle. I don't want to be a support that only stands on top of your allies and heals them. I like to be a support that is really proactive, really tries to deny enemy damage and that kind of stuff, you know? So that's my thing why I like it, yeah. I mean, is it from the gem store? Oh, that might... Is it really from the gem store? No. I don't know. Where do you get this floppy tonic? I have to check. But that would be a funny tonic, for sure. Peak gameplay? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think playing reactive gameplay, for me, as a somewhat, you know, I played a lot of Guild Wars. I want to use my knowledge about the game, my expertise on playing another build to deny damage before it's happening. I don't want to take damage and then heal someone, you know? I think it's better to just deny the damage. So for example, the enemy team has a Mirage. The Mirage doesn't have any stability. So unsteady crowd and static field are completely destroying the damage of it because it has to go over this and get damaged anyway. So you will see that if this works out here, we have a nice team fighting comp actually, this will be really, really good. Okay, they sent only the thief here. That's an opener that I have to respect. And it's also unblockable. That's the cool part. It's also unblockable, that the CC. So you can use unblockable CC, which is obviously really, really good. Can someone help me here? That's not something that I want to fight actually into. I don't know. Looks like a weird match. You see, the unblockable, undodgeable CC is really good. I like that a lot. It's helping a lot in the fight. What are they doing? I have to help this guy, I guess. And then I leave, I guess. I don't like it. That's why I don't like support. I can't play really where I want to go. You know, I have to. I'm dead. Oh, maybe no. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes support is really bad. You know, your team just doesn't rotate anywhere, so I have to be somewhere, and then we lose the map for that. It's a little bit annoying. We have to regroup, and then maybe we can make the team fight work again. But don't run in against 4. Ooh. Yeah, so I don't like the combat tonics that also go away when you mount or when you oh, maybe I can get the CC here. I have to help my team though, that's the problem. No, it's impossible. I was so unlucky CC from the stun here that I couldn't get the glyph off. That's the annoying part. I would have gotten the water glyph here. Unlucky. Yeah, it's actually true. I think I played so much PvP and stuff. I should actually now know that people just want to play deathmatch. Conquest is just a meme. No one plays that. I don't know. I now have to go far because that's the only point where my teammates actually are. But I don't know. Do they get the rest? They actually get the rest. Holy shit. Not 2v4? What? We can get this guy, I guess. I mean, when push comes out, I think all people will play push, I have to be honest. I think that will be the case. I mean, we are losing the team fight here, so I don't know. I think this match is sadly lost. That's the truth, yeah. I don't know, sad. Not a good showcase of healing Tempest, sadly. That's the sad part. But I feel like the matches nowadays are so, especially when I play in the afternoon, the matches are just so one-sided. You have a duo Q on the enemy team and then the match is already over. It's just... I try my best to actually improve at my gameplay, but I feel like I'm not sure if I could have carried this match as a support. Okay, I guess we have to use the glyph soon on my Guardian. I guess I sacrifice myself here, I guess. I mean, it's... I like Staff Tempest because of what it can do if you play it proactively and stuff, but it's like a classical support. You play support, and the thing is, if your team doesn't care or doesn't play around you as a support, you can't carry. It's just almost impossible because your team runs into 1v1s, runs into 1v3s that they lose all the time, and you know, I can't support them in that way. So typically, if I played an aggressive build, I would have killed this enemy Willbender and stuff way easier. But sometimes I just like can't go for the rest here either. Sad. You could carry more if you play Hybrid Dagger Tempest. Yeah, it's true. If I, for example, in this match, I don't know. We have a side noder, or I don't know. My team is just not really playing the map correctly, and that's the problem. It doesn't matter which kind of build I play here. If I can't kill the enemy team, I will lose. So So if I play a tanky side-noting build, I would not have carried this match either. Just because my team is losing all fights. So what can I do to make them win? I have to kill the enemy myself. That's what I should have done here. But you never know before you go into the match. That's how it goes, you know. I can support my allies. Yes, of course, I can try. And I can heal them. But you see, our thief is instantly fully dead, you know. Even if I tried to glyph this guy, he would probably port out of the glyph, so I don't even try if I had it up. Yeah. I was just going to say, a team has to be actively supported. If they ignore what they do, you are doing nearly nothing. Yeah, that's what supporting Guild Wars 2 ranked is. Just sometimes you try really hard. I mean, I didn't play very well in this match, don't get me wrong. I know I did a lot of mistakes there, but it's way harder to support really good if your team is not giving you opportunities to support them. That's the problem here, and you can't change that. Yeah. When ANET nerfs bunker build in PvP, it's not funny when two, 3 people full circle build can do nothing against one bunker. Yeah, that's true. I don't like a bunker meta either. Yeah. Is it still worth doing PvP if you just go on perma loss streak, or are rewards really bad? So I would say the rewards are worse if you play and lose a lot, but they are still worth it for people that want to go, for example, for those Ascended Shards of Glory and stuff. You get a lot of value from playing PvP if you want to get PvP rewards. But it's obviously way better if you win. You get way more from that. Yeah. I actually did not play that. I did not play that, Gale. How is it? Act like the average PvP player and blame your team in full caps and throw. No, I think that's one of the biggest things that I really try to do, is always be somewhat positive, you know? I could have played way better in this match, so I don't flame my team, you know? Even if I played perfectly, I wouldn't flame my team, because that doesn't help anyone. They will not get better if I flame them. So I would rather have a non-toxic environment and be happy with everyone than, you know, being toxic and nothing really changes. So I always try to be friendly and don't write anything in PvP. I think that doesn't help. You can write something like I go home or something, that I go close and stuff, maybe, but you should not write toxic stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a beacon of positivity. I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but at least I try to be positive and don't flame other people. Yeah. Yeah, if you have all the top stats, that's typically a good sign that your teammates are either AFK or just not very good at the game. So don't listen to their flaming. Yeah, that doesn't help. I mean, sounds interesting, the Warden. Sounds interesting. Have you thought about a Road 2 series? Like in League of Legends, people play Road from Unranked to Masters. I think the problem is Guild Wars 2 is so... The PvP scene is so small and stuff that if I would play my placements on a new account, and I would probably be gold, and then I would play, I don't know, a few matches and play really try hard without a stream and stuff, and then I would probably be in Platinum quite soon after that. So, and then it would end for me, because I don't have a duo queue and I'm not really tryharding at 3 AM to get in Legend. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's really the way to go. Maybe if you can come up with some idea that is actually working, it's really fun to watch. Sure, I think that would be really fun. But most of the time, Guild Wars 2 is just not very interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I did try that once, Echo Fox, actually. I tried to make a series, not a real Road 2 series, but more like I commented on my gameplay after I just played a match without any stream. And after that, I commented on what my thought process were, what I did wrong, what kind of mistakes the enemies made and stuff. I did that. I made, I would say, 8 videos or something in that series, so to say. But the thing is, not a lot of people actually like to watch PvP. It's Guild Wars 2 is known for its open world, for its world versus world maybe, but PvP is just, there are not a lot of people interested in PvP. That's the sad truth. If I make a series like that, it gets so little amount of views that I'm not even sure if it's worth the effort to put in, you know? I know it's sad because I would actually like to make this series, but oftentimes you have to take that into account how much people would actually enjoy that. That's the sad part, yeah. Yeah, it's true. There are a lot of possibilities when it comes to raid guides and stuff as well. Maybe I have to do that, but yeah, I guess I have to, because they are really, I agree, I think a lot of stuff, especially tanking, is very mysterious. Not a lot of people know where to move as a tank and stuff, even though if you told them in a video, it would probably be really straightforward. But it's just very, people don't know a lot about tanking and, for example, yeah. Okay, so what do we have here? Support Guardian. And oh, we need so much damage. Holy shit, we need damage. Boo. I guess I have to go. Yeah, I think PvP in Guild Wars 2, if you really want to try hard, it's not good for your mental health. That's the sad truth, yeah. Yeah. That's the sad truth. I think you should have fun and play PvP to have fun, but you should not really go try hard. That's not gonna help you in the long run. Yeah. The problem is, Echo Fox, you're correct there. Of course, it's always a problem if tryhards meet noobs, and that's general in all PvP games that can happen. But in Guild Wars 2, it's like every single match is that. You know, there are only a few amount of people queuing in the certain moment, so that means you will get every single skill level in a match. You know, there are people that queue against the top-rated players, so rank 1, when they are in their placements and they never played PvP before. So what is this, you know? That is not very fun, you know? I think push might help that. I think you are correct there, Vanilli. I think that makes sense to try push, and I think a lot of people might enjoy push, even though they didn't enjoy Conquest. But I think you will have the same problem if there's not enough player base, if the population is too low, you have the same problem. That's the big issue of PvP, but I think Guild Wars 2 has that issue in general, that the amount of people that play Guild Wars 2 is not high enough to actually support really big community and really fun interactions without new content. Okay, that's a support Tempest. With Earth, but he lost Earth already, so... Oof. Where's my team? Oh, okay, they got the Tempest at least. What? That hit me. I thought I timed the stun break and... Okay. I was build crafting a new build here with the Relic of Rivers on this build. Just some really high cook. Yeah. And I think it's actually decent. It's actually not that bad because you really want to get some more alacrity to get your burst up. And they nerfed the Stormslinger Relic, so it's actually not that crazy good anymore. Oh, come on. Double dodge? Oh no. Nice, I got the big hit. Okay, we got this one. I think this match is lost. Won. That's the. We have a support that is actually doing its job, and we have a decent team comp, and we have a lot of damage. This is a support Dragon Hunter. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm not sure if I can escape this. Oh my gosh, perfect timing here. I mean, you can play a lot of builds in PvP and make them work. I think PvP is way more skillful than it's build dependent. But of course, if you want to go for the highest rank or going for monthly AT wins, then you play some kind of meta build to win and don't play a Shoal build or some kind of meme build that is not working in all the situations. That's true. The new Thorns Relic is very good on some bosses that have long faces and you can upkeep the Thorns buff because you need to get hit. But it's not always working. So it depends on the bosses. And on the fights. I can't win this fight. Please give me someone. Condi Tempest with Scepter. Sounds disgusting. Now maybe I can win it. Come on. I want to be in a team fight, not in this one-on-one here. Please let me leave. Three people. Oh, the longbow ranger will snipe me. We got them. They are also tanky. Why are they so annoying? What are they playing? Is the bunker meta back? Look at this. Ah. And the block is up again. No, the necromancer is also coming here. Nice, we got a kill. Maybe we get some nice cleave here. Nice, another kill. And another kill. Nice cleanup, very good. Yeah, I think the Crone did make a video yesterday, I think, about where to use the Thrones Relic as well. It was a really informative video, so I can send you the link after this match if you want to. This match is so close. I have to concentrate though. It's actually crazy. Did I die yet? Yeah, I died once. Oh no. It's true. It's true. I shouldn't talk about stuff when I play Widowbender. It's true. But I think playing full bunker is also very annoying. You know, full bunker Dragon Hunter is just... It doesn't feel that great here to be a willbender, I have to be honest. Doesn't matter where I go, there's always someone annoying there. And another one. Leave me alone, please. Insane. He doesn't have Shroud now, so I can actually go full tryhard in the next 4 seconds or something. It's insane. They all want me to kill me. It's actually crazy. And I can't get a counter kill. Okay, at least we have one. Maybe I will rally here. Nice. My team was finally there after 7 minutes of fighting. We have to kill this guy, I guess. Please. Nice. Okay, we got the next spell, we're actually fine. Just want to get out of combat here. Yeah, this is a good target, I guess. I can win this one. I just keep my healing skill. Easy. If you don't use your healing skill as a willbender, you have actually decent amount of cleanses. In the Connie matchup, that's actually quite nice. Nice, we got it. Very good. Was fun, was fun. Fun match. So let's catch up on chat. Yeah, I think willbenders are really annoying. I just played willbender because if I didn't play willbender in this match, I think we would have lost it. The reason for that is if you have no damage, you will lose the match. It's just straight up the case in PvP right now. You need a lot of damage, and if you have no damage dealer on your team, it doesn't matter what the enemy team is actually doing. You can't win a fight. You see how close this match was actually. Even though I was not dying a lot, I think I died once in this match. And if you play a DPS and you don't die, it's almost safe to say that you will win the match. Yeah, I have actually quite a lot of tones of knowledge. It's actually true. I would give them to you, of course. If you needed them and I could give them to you, I would do that because I have quite a lot of them. It's true. But I mean, what can I do? You know, I just saved them. it's not. I have on my account. I have more than those. It's just the ones that I actually have had the, let's say, the effort put in to put them on one character. But I actually have more on every single character. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's true. If you see that inventory, you think I'm crazy. But I mean, what can you do, you know? It's just playing the game for a long time. And saving stuff, you know? I like to save my stuff and don't waste it on something else. And Echo Fox, you don't have to say anything about getting stuff, you know? I opened 2,000 Blackline chests. I just need to remind you how much I got out of that. Yeah. Exactly, I'm a certified backslot enjoyer. I'm not sure about the second part, but the first part, it's definitely true. Yeah. So I have on my efficiency account, I can check, but I think I have something around 7-8k of tomes lying around. Just in if I would collect all of them, because this, for example, gives you also one, I think. No, not this one. There are some things that are the chests, the World versus World chests. I also have some on the account lying around. They give you a tome, and you can, for example, where is it? Somewhere. You can also get those daily thingies where you get from the daily. Back in the old day, you could get half of or tenth of a tomes of knowledge, something like that. I have tons of those laying around as well. I just don't need the levels, you know. I have 70 characters at level 80 already, so why would I use the tomes, you know? I have enough spirit shards as well. It's just I played the game for way too long. You know, I have 4.5k spirit shards and I have 7k tomes or something, so I don't know for what to do with it, you know. I just spent 3.5k gems on few character slots for extra space and chance to make and enjoy. I mean, that's good. That's good. I mean, I like to have more characters, and I think you should too, because having more characters is not only giving you more space, but also more possibilities to play. You know, every character comes with 2 equipment templates and 3 build templates. So you can just easily swap when you want to something else. And if you need more characters or more classes to play, it's even better. I think it's just overall a very good thing to have. I think for almost everyone. Guild Wars 2 is not really meant to be played on a single character. You have way more fun if you play multiple characters, at least in my opinion. The queue times are actually insane. I don't know. We need 3.5 minutes and we get the same 9 people in the match. It's actually what? It's actually crazy. Yeah. I mean, maybe you should not look. Yeah, I don't know. Everyone has different preferences, of course. Yeah. Nothing, actually. Nothing. It's just water. Just water to hydrate. When I talk too much, then I would just want to get something to get a little bit more my throat happy. Okay, let's see. I try not to play Willbender. Maybe I can play a Reaper match. Reaper would be really fun, just to showcase Reaper as well, because I think Reaper is one of my most favorite specs to play in PvP, but sometimes you just can't play Reaper. If you don't have power DPS, then you should not play Reaper, because then your team is lacking burst damage, and that's something that you need to finish kills often. But maybe I can play Reaper in this match. I really hope. So, yeah, that looks like we have enough power damage. Let's play Reaper. This match looks already won because we have decent players, I would say, and the other team doesn't. But I have so many characters. Where is it there? That's the only thing. I really would like to have the UI that I can say, okay, I want my characters in a list and not this long portrait thing where you see all the pictures of your characters. I want a list and I can easily swap to my characters based on the name. That would be way faster for me. I have always to scroll. Where's my 63rd character? Where is my first character? You know, it's way harder to actually get to that. Yeah. But it's obviously something that only a veteran would complain about. Okay, it's Reaper time. I mean, yes, I actually can remember my characters, what builds they actually have on, because they are sorted. You know, my Sylvari are always PvP characters, so I always know. Okay, I go to my Sylvari Necromancer if I want to play PvP and stuff. I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I agree with the static thing. It's annoying that I also think that the problem is that it's not really dynamic. It's not the last character that they logged in, because sometimes I just log into a character, get something out of the bag and put it in a bank and log back out, and then it's the second. You know, it's not the first. It's really weird. It's just not working perfectly, this system anyway. So I think a static one would help a lot. Yeah, I think this is nice roleplay. But I personally would rather have something that is more functional. Yeah. Yes, Pistol is working very well as well. Just Scepter is the more aggressive version. Yeah. So oftentimes you want to have Scepter if you want to be the damage dealer yourself, and you would be the, so to say, more setup guy when you play with pistol. Holy shit, this guy used all dodges and stun breaks, please. Forced dodge, nice. Let's do it once again. Okay. I told you this match is not gonna be fair, but let's get the kill here, please. No, we can't. Okay, there you go. What is this? Condi Renegade with spirits. Okay, with color. Very interesting. Very interesting cook. I can't help this guy, I guess, until I get there. It's dead already. So pistol, I would say, is more the setup weapon, and scepter is if you want to take matters in your own hand and you want to carry with DPS. I would say scepter is the more aggressive one, but it's the safer bet is probably with pistol. It's just I hate virtuosos. Really, that's the most annoying spec for me to fight are virtuosos. Because they are always invulnerable. I hate this. I guess my team won the mid fight, at least. I think virtuosos are, if you fight them, it's really annoying, and if you play them yourself, it feels like, oh, I don't have any invulnerability, you know? It's just... Can we get the safe risk here? Maybe we can get it. If we get some more kill... Yeah, maybe I think we should be fine and get the rally here. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, Ilya. Welcome. I still have PTSD from that map. Back in the early days when it was always 4v4 since 2 people camped the trap. I mean, that's always, if you have someone at the trap, it's horrible. I hate that when people go to the trap. They used all the energy on me. Very good. And a greatsword mirage. Yeah, this match was completely unfair. I don't know. That's just PvP, you know. Sometimes you get unfair matches in one direction and sometimes in the other direction. It didn't even matter that we had Kylo and we had the trap possibility here. But I don't know. It's just very, very one-sided. Love greatsword and MMOs. What class spec is the best for greatsword? So if you like the real greatsword fantasy, I would say Guardian or Warrior are the classes with the best greatsword usage when it comes to really clear how you play greatsword. But if you want to play some more experimental and something that is a little bit less common in other MMOs, then play Mesmer or maybe even Reaper with greatsword. I think that those two are really interesting from a design perspective. Yeah, I think Mesmer is very unique because it's a ranged weapon and it's not what you typically would expect from a greatsword. But I mean, I think greatsword can be used on all classes except Engineer, Thief, and Elementalist. So in Guild Wars you actually have a lot of greatsword users. So you can just watch my class guide and I showcase the classes, and then if you like the class, you will probably have the class with a greatsword as well. But in general, I think you should not always choose the class in Guild Wars 2 that is having a specific weapon, because you will swap your weapon. You will not always play the same weapon, especially if you want to play different classes or different game modes. That makes a lot of sense that you don't have the same class weapon all the time. I mean, in World vs. World, it was actually meta, Echo Fox. Greatsword with Scourge. It was actually meta because of the corrupts that you had. Yeah. And Condi Reaper also uses Greatsword, I think, in PvE, as far as I know. Look at that Condi damage, you know? Yeah, Mesmer is very interesting. It's with the next balance patch, Greatsword actually will get a buff, so if you enjoy Mesmer, it's probably in a better spot than ever with Greatsword. Or not ever, but probably in a better spot than in the last year or so, yeah. Yeah, Power Scourge is still very good, yeah. I'm not sure if it's the best pick, Snowdrop, I have to be honest. I think the cooldown nerfs actually made it really, I don't know. I think there are other options that make a lot of sense too. But I think it's a very good pick still, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you play Power Scourge because you're just in there for the barrier, for the corrupt, and power is just the best option when you want to deal damage in World vs. World in a Cirque. Condi, you don't really play a full-blown Condi. You can play Celestial, but you can't play a real full-blown Condi because it's just not working out. Yeah. Exactly. The weapon itself is just for the skin. It's more the weapon, how it plays is completely different. Sorry for asking again, what elite spec from Mesmer is the best for Greatsword? I think all of them can use it. It's not really. I think Mirage is actually meta in World vs. World to play with Greatsword because you have some really crazy good ambush skills. I would say Chronomancer and Virtuoso typically like Spear more, but if you don't have access to Spear, you play Greatsword. So all of the three lead specs are actually working very well with Greatsword. Yeah. So don't worry too much about that. Yeah. Don't worry too much about it. For PvE, probably Chrono will be the best, yeah. Probably, yeah. Because Chronomancer can be decent in a support way as well, offensive support, and Greatsword helps you with that. So, I mean, Spear is probably still superior, but still, yeah. I'd have quit the game in 2 days after starting with Chrono. I mean, not every class has to be for you. That's the fair point. Not every class has to be for you. Yeah, and I think with that I will also end today's stream. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun and hope to see you around. And if you don't know already, check out my YouTube channel. It's all about Guild Wars 2. And yeah, hope to see you next time. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening. See you around.